Google, what does God think about cancel culture? And you'll spend more than half any article reading about what Urban Dictionary says it is, what other people have said about it, and about 10 examples and maybe like 2 or 3 Bible verses are slapped in there somewhere. You know what we say to that? Not today, bruh, not today. You don't have to consider yourself a Christian to know that the threat of you being canceled is very real. I imagine just about everybody's agent is asking the people they represent, hey, did you do something really nasty on a home video 30 years ago? Yeah, destroy that. Burn it. Wait, actually don't burn it. That's bad for the environment. Just throw it in a box and hope no one opens it, because if they do, it will end your career. The art of cancel culture has often been compared to angry mobs with pitchforks ready to get you cause you ain't right. Here's the thing though, Romans 3:23 says, "For all have sinned and come short of the glory of God." Not just the racists, not just the homophobes or sexists. All. That means me. That means you. That means everybody. We're all a hot mess, but Jesus died for that. So because we said or did something we shouldn't have, does this mean we are what we do? This chapter goes on to say in verse 24 and 25, being justified freely by his grace through the redemption that is Jesus Christ, whom God hath set forth to be a proposition through faith in his blood, to declare his righteousness for the remission of sins that are past through the forbearance of God. Here's one example of cancel culture in the Word. In John chapter 8, Jesus, the Son of God, met a woman who was just vibing, doing her thing, and a bunch of people came at her all mad that she did this and that and the other. They grabbed her and literally forced her to come to Jesus. Here's the tea. Chapter 8, verse 4 through 11. Teacher, they said to Jesus, this woman was caught in the act of adultery. The law of Moses says to stone her. What do you say? They were trying to trap him into saying something they could use against him, but Jesus stooped down and wrote in the dust with his finger. They kept demanding an answer, so he stood up again and said, all right, but let the one who has never sinned throw the first stone. Then he stooped down again and wrote in the dust. Oh! When his accusers heard this, they slipped away one by one, beginning with the oldest, until Jesus was left in the middle of the crowd with the woman. Then Jesus stood up again and said to the woman, where are your accusers? Didn't even one of them concern you? No, Lord, she said, and Jesus said, neither do I. Go and sin no more. Neither do I, Jesus said. That's powerful. That means there are second chances. That means there's peace and love and grace and the ability to learn from our mistakes. If we all have sinned, then there is not a single person in the history of the world that has any business canceling anybody. Ask people who participate, and they'll feel like they're genuinely doing a good deed, keeping those of influence accountable. But if cancel culture truly wants to play by its own rules, everybody should be canceled. But notice this, Jesus did not cancel that woman. He said if she's going to be canceled for her sins, or in this case literally die, the one who's never sinned should be the one to do it. Otherwise it's blatant hypocrisy. No one could do it, because they were all sinners. So they buggered off. And had Jesus asked anyone, they wouldn't be able to honestly say they acted like angels 24/7. But what did Jesus say at the end? Sin no more. He gave her another chance to learn and do better. When it comes to cancel culture, we must also remember this before taking part ourselves. Matthew chapter 7, verse 1 through 5. Judge not, that you be not judged. For with what judgment you judge, you will be judged, and with the measure you use, it will be measured back to you. And why do you look at the speck in your brother's eye, but do not consider the plank in your own eye? Or how can you say to your brother, let me remove the speck from your eye, and look, a plank is in your own eye? Hypocrite! First remove the plank from your own eye, then you will see clearly to remove the speck from your brother's eye. Later it circles back, giving us what we call the golden rule. Verse 12. Therefore, whatever you want men to do to you, do also to them, for this is the law and the prophets. Nothing good ever comes from getting mad or anxious over something someone else did wrong. Sins have an interesting habit of coming to light on their own, so let's keep scrolling, promoting love rather than hate. There are loving ways you can remove toxicity from your life, and even call it out when it needs to be. But that's a whole other article. The translations used in this article are KJV and NLT.